How y'all doing out there? This is the Black Effect, the real Black Effect. I want to go ahead and do this video because this is a video that's really important. I want to ask the brothers, man, and some of you sisters, but I really want to ask the brothers, what benefit do you get out of gang culture? What benefit do you get out of being in a gang? I'm talking to the brothers, man, in the young brothers who be considered doing this, for the young brothers who, is in a clique, or because see, I'm gonna cover it all, and we really gonna do this because this is a conversation that needs to be had that's not had by a lot of adult males in our communities. Like, they shy away from it. But so gangs, what is the benefit, brothers? What is as a young brother who's out in the free world, it doesn't matter what city. I don't care if you from New York, LA, Chicago, Texas, Baton Rouge, Connecticut, Florida, or Tallahassee. Or Tallahassee's in Florida, or Washington. It doesn't matter. Don't you know nothing's new under the sun? LA, LA created the culture of the Bloods and the Crips. That's where those gangs came from. But there's been gangs around before that. You had the Italian mob is nothing more than a gang, but that's different. It's a different culture. They have different aspects to that, but it's pretty much along the same thing. You see the gangs that's in Africa, the Hispanic gangs, the GS-13, these are gangs. Like Hispanic in Mexico, they have gangs as well. Do you understand? But right now I'm speaking to blacks, American blacks. Okay? And I'm asking you, what is the benefit of this gang culture for you? And I'm speaking for, now we can expand for your family and for the community, but right now, because I may have to do a part 2 and 3 on this. This is a very polarizing topic. This is a topic that we need to touch, and this is a very important topic that will change the trajectory, and that we need to address, that will change the trajectory. I'm telling you this, that it'll change the trajectory of the black community in America. It will, if we address this topic of gangs. And what is the benefit that is getting you? Like, I grew up in the neighborhood that the community, what some would call the ghetto, or the urban community. I grew up in Texas as well. So Texas, in Dallas, we never got down with all of that colors and, oh, I'm gonna twist my fingers and I'm finna die over a color, or, a neighborhood or something like that. We never, though there was some people who came from different places and who still had that in them, that mentality. Like, I knew a friend of mine named was Jeffrey. We grew up together. He was he used to grow. I think he came from LA, and he was really into Spice One. And Spice One, so, and he was in, like, claiming the Crips or whatever, as a kid. Really nothing came of that. But just in all actuality, the trajectory of his life wasn't the path that I was on. So you had little bits of pockets of that. But we, just like anywhere, we had cliques. So people would click up in little groups. You call them cliques. So though they got the Bloods, the Crips out there in LA, we had names of things. You call them the Ballers, or then you got this group over here, LOB or LOD. Then you got this, so, but these was fake little groups that niggas was just doing. And I'm going to keep it real. The reason, if you ask me the reason behind it, when we was younger and childish, first of all, we were young and childish. That's number one. Number two, it was just to be cool. You know, it's your partners. It was like WWE, man. You know, do you think when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall they invaded WCW and they was calling themselves the NWO and they went and got Hogan? Do you think they was out there thugging and bugging, shooting gun and riding with the Hell's Angels when they got off? No. They were just doing that because it was cool. That was their clique. They was having fun. If you go ask them, they'll tell, these are white men. They'll tell you at that time what they were doing. That was probably some of the best times and they was having fun. So what it shows me is and one thing I know is that black men, like anybody, they look for camaraderie, you know, and a lot of us as young black males growing up, we have single mothers. We don't have fathers in the home. A father will show you the direction you need to go and put you in on that path that you need to go. And it definitely ain't gonna be on the path of joining a bunch of knuckleheads and a dude who trying to take the place of your father, you know, because the gang leader, like how Ray in the movie South Central, Ray, you know, he had turned OG Bobby Johnson's son into, he put him on the same path that OG Bobby Johnson was on, you know, that they grew up in. He didn't try to show him no other way. He basically used him. This was a young boy, and the gang leader was using his son in the movie South Central. He was using that young boy until his daddy got out of jail, even though and this is OG Bobby Johnson was his daddy's name. He was a stone cold killer, a real man, but he was in jail and he learned better. And he, you know, this is how the Lord works. See, the Lord uses sinners. We all have sinned. I tell you, like, I'm one of the worst. But the Lord found me and changed my heart. Do you understand? Showed me a better way. Once you're shown a better way, shown a different trajectory, that's what happens with a lot of us. We don't know. You know, but when you're shown another way, see, now you have people like myself, people on the internet. You know, this is a span that goes, you know, that spans a vast trajectory. The internet, social media. I'm on every platform. I know guys who's got a bigger platform than me bombing this type of knowledge. So it's different now. You can link up, you know. There needs to be more things in the communities, you know, like a Charleston White, bro. You got off the path, bro. You was doing the right thing. There need to be more people touching in the communities, the churches, you know, coming and showing the brothers another path, the true path. Like how in look at all these movies, man. They showing you this. Boys in the Hood. You had Furious, who was played by Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne was that guy who was he was the smart guy who come from that neighborhood, but who was teaching you who made it from all of that and teaching you a better way. See, a lot of us don't make it from that. You don't make it out of this because the devil not going to allow you to change your life. A lot of you who end up perpetuating this lifestyle of gang banging, thugging and bugging, you end up in jail, dead, or you end up in jail and then you get out and then you can't make a living for yourself. So you basically a bum. You dead to society. You end up perpetuating a same type of cycle. So you end up like the dude Ray, who before you die, what you do is you train up and brainwash a new generation to carry out a bastardized form of what you was doing. So they are even worse. They're even worse. It's always worse. You do that. So you have them four options. You either end up dead, in jail and dead in the street and dead financially when you get out, because you can't do nothing. You don't have no skills. You dead in jail, dead financially. You're irrelevant, you know, to where in the society that counts. You could be manipulated again. They could just come do you any type. The devil can come shuffle you any type of way, use you any type of way, and then throw you back and discard you again. That's another, but that's the fifth part. You end up in confusion. But the fourth one is you end up like Ray, presenting the lifestyle, trying to another group, to a younger group of people who you can manipulate. And you know you got to go get the vulnerable boys who raised by single mothers. Most of the time, these gangs and gang leaders, they not finna go after a kid who got a father, because the father, like the father tell you, I brought you into this world and I'll take you out. Man, I kill you and go do the time. Or matter of fact, I'll let you know, nigga, that as my son, I love you to death, and I'm not gonna let you. And I love you as my own soul, and you're my responsibility, and I'm not gonna let you go that route in this life. First of all, I'm gonna beat your ass, and then I'm gonna whoop you. I'm gonna be doing that all the way up through upbringing, establishing authority, and teaching you, thus saith the Lord. But if I catch you doing some dirt, it's my responsibility to take you out, man. Hurting people. If I catch you hurting people, doing them wrong, first of all, I'm gonna kick you out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna kick you out, yeah. And I'm gonna leave you to your own devices. But before I do that, I'm gonna chastise you, man, and direct and give you direction first. First, I'm gonna chastise you and give you direction. And usually, a lot of times, you don't even have to whoop chastise the boy physically or nothing like that, because they gonna understand logic from a grown man who start laying out the pros and cons of this lifestyle you want to choose. If you want to go get some camaraderie, join a football team. Matter of fact, go to church, boy. Because I'm gonna tell you, the one thing is, if you find the right church home and the people of God, and you're a believer, these are your brothers and sisters, man. People always want to use the people of God when you need something, because you know how selfless they can be. You understand? These are people who are your brothers and sisters. You could go look at Pastor Dow, man. I can give you numerous examples. These people building communities together. They building homesteads together. You understand? Like, if you looking for, but see, the camaraderie you get from them gangs, if you want to go be comrades with Satan and comrades with demons, then you need to understand how the powers of hell work. You need to understand how the demonic realm work. It ain't no real niggas they backstab niggas all the time. Backstabbing is on the menu. You understand? Backstabbing on the menu. It ain't no real love, nigga. Don't think you got no real brothers. I could name you numerous films just to give you example. Look at New Jack City. Look at The Wire. Look at that you have to be kept in a certain space, a certain headspace. Don't let you start elevating your mind or something or trying to think outside the box. That's not what they want you there for. You understand? And you're going to mess around and get your cat. And that's when guys going to start plotting on you and mess around and set you up. You end up in jail, or you get your cat pill and you end up in the afterlife and have to explain to the living God why you're there early. You gonna tell him, oh, because I wanted to join a gang, man, and them Crips, man. You gonna make excuses, or you gonna see, and I'm gonna bring me to this. That brings me to this. Are you gonna make the same excuses that you try to make for and feeling sorry for yourself, the same way that people try to do, have been doing for years, ever since that we got out of slavery and stuff like that? Like, we can't keep feeling sorry for ourselves. Talking about, because I was talking to, I talk to people and they'll say like, well, I do have. They'll try to excuse all of these gangs still being around, and and thriving after so long. After we should have saw by now as logical thinking people that they not helping us and they should have been eliminated. And we shouldn't be championing them. Like, you don't see no other group of people championing the gang, the scum element of they society. And now, if the excuse is, I heard, they grew up in the neighborhood. What if you grew up in the neighborhood and what if you grew up in the neighborhood, you in poverty, and that's all you got around. And if you don't join a gang, you're going to be getting beat up every day. What? Like, what type of hell scenarios are you niggas trying to... Y'all niggas want to create the perfect ghetto scenario. You seen too many movies. It ain't nowhere that you live where everybody is in a gang. Now, it may be some places, where the youth, the people, your peers or all think it's cool to be doing this stuff and to be in a gang, even though they parents and all y'all parents in the same boat. Nigga, mama probably working hard as hell, and you know, putting y'all niggas on. Y'all not hurting. Y'all got the internet, all these iPhones. You see kids like I Show Speed, people like Casanat. You see people use, you know, they ain't even got to do much. They ain't doing no rocket science, but they able to make millions of dollars and be successful. Look at their life. They ain't gotta, you know, getting their people killed. They ain't got their baby mamas getting kidnapped. They ain't got, you know, they grandma getting their granddaddy getting their head blown to the white meat because they wanna go in some neighborhood and talk about and be tough. And I'm the set, the 3 set over here, the 3 block over here, this the 2 block over here. Man, bro, it take more courage to stand outside the box, forgive your brother, to school your brother. Like, it take more courage for you to go just school. If you was say you was a young man and one of these dudes try to come at you with some gang stuff or some gang talk, it'll take much more courage from you to give him, thus saith the Lord, to give him a different trajectory of his life and tell him the way he moving, tell him the truth, the way that he moving is wrong. It'll take more courage for you to do that than to pull out another gun and then shoot him in the face, or, you know, or swing on him, or, you know what I'm saying, try to go get your homies to go jump down. That ain't nothing, man. That's why y'all join the game, because y'all scared to do things yourself. You don't want to be, when it's hell to pay, you know, you don't want to be there by yourself. But I'm telling you this, man. We all come on this earth by ourselves, and we going to leave that way. And God ain't going to judge us in gang fashion. God going to judge you as an individual. And one thing God is, he doesn't like, one thing, I know the character of the Lord, man. I speak to the Lord. One thing God is not with is hypocrisy, and he's not with fake phonies. And God is not with cowards. God is also not with followers. You're gonna be unless you following Christ, then any following anything else is worshiping false gods. Anything like you follow, that's what you're doing. It's worshiping idols. That's what it is. These gangs are an idol to you. The gang leader is your God. If he tell you to do something, you're gonna go against Jesus Christ himself in order for these guys or to look cool or whatever. You rejecting God. And so when you die, he's gonna reject you. Have you saw Tales from the Hood? That movie? I know I keep naming these movies, man. These are cult classics. Go look up the first Tales from the Hood. That's exactly the situation you're gonna end up in. That's why when that movie came on and I saw that movie scared me to death. Because I tell you, man, I come from that cloth. The guy you talking to is one of the worst. This ain't Laddie Buck. That's why I do these videos. That's why I can do it from experience. You know, I come from the generation all the time where it was hell to pay. It wasn't no internet. If you get caught in one of these clubs or you get caught in some real beefs and things like that, man, you gonna have to push it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to kill or be killed. And you couldn't run to the internet. That's all I'm saying. It was just a little more real, like with the street codes. But listen, all of it's foolishness. I was glad to see it dying out. I was happy. I was like, God, our people really are waking up. We was doing real good, and you know, up into a certain point, and now, you know, it was up into a certain point. Then you had dudes like Game, who come in and Jimmy Blanco, Jim Jones, bringing the all this gang culture to New York and spreading it. See, I'm not Jim Jones. Jim Jones was just a blood by default. I say a blood by look only. Him and Jewels and Cameron, they were bloods and look only. They were not from LA. We know that. You know, they New York niggas. They was Dipset. They weren't. But that Dipset was their gang. You understand? So it wasn't any better. They were still a gang. But the blood aspect was just for show. They try, and I didn't like that. You try to make it cool. They made it cool. That's what they did. They made it cool. And now you guys, you young men, just by natural default, you're throwing up fingers Be honest. When you listening to music, you throwing fingers up and you don't even know how to throw them up. When DJ Envy was talking, he talking about when the song "They Not Like Us" is playing. He don't even know how to crip walk, but he was trying to do it. Do you know that's a gang walk, bro? That's something that comes from gangs. Like that's some real stuff. Yeah, but people just try to make it cool and make it part of the culture. So we need to, bro. We need to really assess where we want the black community to go. Because if we're gonna constantly make excuses and perpetuate the worst is the worst things of society as black culture, we're gonna have a hard time, man. And I'm not a part of that, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. I may come out with a part two, who knows? But this is the black effect, man. The real black effect. I'm gone.